The councilman didn't start with questions. He started with volume. Her pay! His fists struck the folding table hard enough to rattle the metal legs. The fluorescent lights above us hummed. People in the small municipal conference room avoided my eyes as if guilt could spread by contact. I stood near the wall, hands folded in front of me. I'd already answered the officer's preliminary questions outside. I'd already explained where I was. It hadn't mattered once the councilman arrived. A catastrophic crash. 2 cars totaled. A streetlight down. His nephew hospitalized. Somehow, my name had moved to the front of the story. Across town, I knew exactly what was happening. Sister would be pacing our living room, dramatic and pale. My parents would be whispering that it would blow over. They would assume I'd do what I always did, step in, smooth it out, absorb the mess. I had done it before. Smaller things. Tickets, damaged property, missed payments. I was the steady one, the responsible one, the one who could handle it. This was different. Why were you speeding through Maple and 3rd? The councilman demanded. I wasn't, I said evenly. He laughed sharply, turning to the officer. She's lying. Witnesses saw a dark sedan. I didn't argue. My car was dark. So was half the town's. Officer's expression stayed neutral. He had asked for my license earlier. I had given it. I had also given him something else, quietly, before the councilman burst in. A printed confirmation from the auto service center across the county line. Car had been in their garage from noon until almost 7. Time-stamped intake. Surveillance logged. Diagnostic data uploaded. The crash happened at 4:12 p.m. The councilman didn't know that yet. He leaned closer to me. You think staying calm makes you innocent. No, staying calm makes me patient, I thought. The officer's radio crackled. He stepped aside, hand pressed to his earpiece. The room continued to vibrate with the councilman's indignation. Watched dust float in the fluorescent light. I didn't feel anger the way I expected to. I felt tired. Tired of being the solution. Tired of being assumed compliant. The officer returned, posture subtly altered. Sir, he said to the councilman, voice firm but controlled, we've reviewed traffic camera footage from Maple and 3rd. The room stilled. The vehicle involved matches registration to another driver. He looked at me briefly before continuing. It's registered to her sister? Silence landed hard. The councilman blinked. That's not possible. It is, the officer replied. What also confirmed this vehicle, he nodded toward me, was logged at Parker's Auto Service during the time of the collision. Surveillance confirms it did not leave the premises. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Authority shifted not through shouting, but through documentation. The councilman's shoulders dropped a fraction. His anger didn't vanish, lost direction. So you're saying? I'm saying. The officer interrupted gently but unmistakably, she is not responsible for this crash. The words hung there. No apology followed. None was required by law. The councilman stepped back from the table. His performance had nowhere to go. He muttered something about sorting this out and left the room without looking at me. The officer turned to me. You're free to go. We may need a statement regarding your sister. I nodded. I'll cooperate. Outside, evening air cooled my face. My phone vibrated almost immediately. 3 missed calls from my mother. 1 from my sister. A text. Can you just say you borrowed the car? It would ruin everything for me. I stared at the message for a long time. Years ago, typed yes without thinking. Instead, I wrote no, not cruel, not dramatic, just final. Another message appeared. Charge me. I didn't respond. Consequences weren't revenge. They were gravity. By the time I drove home, My father had left a voicemail about family loyalty. My mother's voice trembled between worry and accusation. Call back that night. The next week, my sister was formally cited. Insurance investigations began. The councilman kept his distance publicly. No one mentioned the conference room. At dinner, our first since the crash, parents spoke carefully as if words might trigger something fragile. You could have handled it differently. My mother said softly. I replied. No anger, no lecture, just truth. Something had shifted. Not loudly, not dramatically. They no longer looked at me as the safety net. They looked at me as someone who might step aside. It wasn't a celebration. It wasn't reconciliation. It was space. And for the first time, the silence didn't feel like something I was obligated to fill.